Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope that all of you are doing well, and I hope that all of you are doing super great. First of all, a very warm welcome from Edureka. Thank you for joining this today's session, guys. My name is Deepak, and it's an immense pleasure to meet you. So, let's get started. Let's take a look at our agenda today. Today, we will talk about Azure LB. What LB is, which is Azure Load Balancer. Then we will talk about why we should use a load balancer. Post that, we will talk about Azure Load Balancer types. And after that, we will talk about Azure Load Balancer versus Application Gateway versus Traffic Manager. So this is the agenda for today. Moving on, talking about structured learning at Edureka. So if you are highly interested to take the course from us and you want to know what all topics we cover, you can find out a list of entire topics, entire details on our website, which is edureka.co, wherein you will be able to see the list of entire webinars, the list that we are going to conduct. In addition to that, if you want to see a quick overview about the topics that we are going to cover, let me just share my screen. In the first class, we are going to have the understanding about what is Azure Solution Architect training, what are different components, different services with the practical hands-on. In the second class, we will learn about Azure virtual machines and networking with the practical hands-on. In the third class, we will learn about Azure VMSs, Virtual Machine Scale Set, Availability Zone with the practical hands-on. In the fourth class, we will learn about Azure App Services and its feature with the practical hands-on. In the fifth class, we will learn about Advanced Azure Hybrid Connectivity and Site Recovery with the practical hands-on. In the sixth class, we will learn about Azure Storage Solution and Design Patterns with the practical hands-on. In the seventh class, we will learn about Azure Kubernetes Service, Docker, how to integrate everything. Even in the storage solution, you're going to learn all the different four types of storages that we have: blob, file, queue, table, with the practical hands-on. In the eighth class, we will learn about Azure Active Directory and RBAC. RBAC is role-based access control, how you can basically do a real-time synchronization with your on-premise Active Directory, what is Azure AD Sync, all such kind of things you're going to learn with the practical hands-on. In the ninth class, you will learn about Azure Monitoring and Insight Services with the practical hands-on. And in the 10th class, you will learn about DAM, which is the Azure Design, Azure Migration, what are different tools, different ways with the help of which you can migrate the data from Azure on-premise to the cloud, or how you can basically migrate the data from the cloud to on-premise. All such kind of things you are going to learn from us once you're going to enroll the course from our side, wherein all the information in detail is going to be appear to you. Your all the content particles, each and everything is going to be very well documented, and you are going to have access of it from the day one. Now, talking about what is ALB, what is Azure Load Balancer. Before we talk about, let's just understand what is Azure. Azure basically is a cloud computing service given by Microsoft. Now, what is a cloud? Before we talk about cloud computing service, let's take a step back and understand the cloud. Now, in the earlier days, if we have to send a data from one side to another, let's say I am sending a data from one location to another, how I will be able to send that data? In order to send the data out, I am going to use basically different ways. In other words, when I say different ways as in I am going to be dependent on the physical media. Like I will require any hard drive, floppy drive, CD, DVD drive. I'm going to put my data over there, and from that, I'm going to transfer my data. Right? That's the approach. I think everyone will remember. That's the approach that we use always. However, isn't that like very painful? Because every time I have to transfer the data via external devices, it's going to take a lot of time. And plus, in this competitive world, when we need everything quicker, it's going to be painful. In addition to that, just think about it. Any of the organization who wants to send some data from one country to another, and if they are going to take use of these external drives and all, it can become big nightmare for them, because the moment that they are going to use all these external devices and all, it's going to take ages. Every company have to spend a couple of days in order to get the data. For example, there is some urgent data, time-sensitive data, which I want to send to another party, to other customer, other client. It's going to take ages, right? And we can't wait. Like no company can wait for that long. Maybe there is some customers information, some supplier information. We will not be able to send the data in a real time. So in the case of cloud, you get all such kind of benefits, wherein you can transfer the data in the real time. So Azure basically gives you a flexibility that not Azure, even the cloud solutions we have in the market, they gives you flexibility that You can access your data in a real time, and you can basically spin up the resources in a real time. Now, if I want to create a virtual machine, you know how much time it takes. It takes longer time, like around approximately an hour. If I had to build up any server in order to install it and perform all the kind of activities, it would take almost an hour, right? It's time consuming. But in the case of cloud, everything is quicker. You don't have to spend a couple of hours. You don't have to even spend, I would say, then days actually. The moment you need any kind of resource, just you have to request that resource, and within 2 to 3 minutes maximum, that resource is going to be created with a given configuration. Plus, you can also do the auto scaling. Auto scaling basically means that you want to configure something, you want to configure the scaling part, like the resource should be scale up automatically, scale down automatically, all such kind of condition, all such kind of criteria, you can define very easily without any kind of hassle. So all such kind of benefits you basically get in the cloud. Now, why Azure is so famous? Like, we have so many different cloud vendors in the market. We have the cloud from Google, which is known as GCP. We have a cloud from Amazon, which is known as AWS. We have even the cloud from Microsoft, which is Azure. We have cloud from IBM, which is acquired by software. But why exactly Azure is famous? You know, if we have so many cloud vendors in the market, the one of the biggest benefit in the case of Azure is because if you see, Microsoft has a huge market share. Like, you talk about development tools like C# and all. You talk about other different types of tools that we have. Like, for example, a database, we have SQL, Active Directory. These all these things basically are the proprietary of Microsoft. It gives you a huge advantage that you can integrate with Microsoft solution very easily, without any kind of hassle, without having any kind of trouble. You can easily integrate with the other solutions very easily. At the same time, you don't have to worry about different implementation, complicated technologies, all such kind of benefits you get here. So you can integrate with different tools. At the same time, if you want to use these different tools in different, I would say, for the use cases, you are going to have that advantages that you can use these different tools for different purposes, and you can easily integrate those APIs, those tools, those solutions very easily with the help of Azure. At the same time, now in so many companies, specifically when they're doing a business, they have a requirement that they have to purchase a license in bulk. Because if I'm a big company, I have 400,000 computers, all these companies basically, they will going to take Windows 10 license for every machine is going to be very expensive. So purchase a license in bulk. In certain cases, they do the partnership as well, so which eventually gives them a huge advantage and they save the cost. Now, in addition to that, they are spinning up this solution wherein they are just going live directly with Azure. They just have to add one more, a component in the subscription, which is going to give an advantage to them that their entire solution is going to be very cheaper as compared to other cloud vendors. Now, due to all these reasons, due to all these things, Azure has gained so much visibility. Plus, Azure has so much market share. At the same time, you can also perform so many unique things that Azure provide that you cannot do with other cloud vendors. Also, it helps you to have using their services at the price of noise. Plus, you can do perform auto scaling. You can have a requirement. If this kind of requirement is going to be there, the resource should scale up automatically. The resource should scale up automatically. All such kind of requirement also you can configure in the case of Azure very easily without any kind of much hassle. Now, talking about Azure Load Balancer. Before I talk about Azure Load Balancer, first of all, we need to understand what is load balancer. Load balancer basically helps you to load balance the traffic. If I'm sending so many requests to any of a device, and if all the requests that I'm going to send it to you, basically on the device, if it is going to hit the server, it's going to eventually bring a lot of load. Now, since in this COVID pandemic, we have seen that so many companies went to remote, right? So many companies are going remote. People are working remotely, due to which so many hacks are being happening. Now, if my real IP address of my server of my application is going to be revealed, then in that case, anyone over the internet can try to send the malicious packets, malwares from my system, which eventually can bring my entire environment, which eventually can bring my entire even organization down. So, having said that, you are going to get the huge advantage with the load balancer that it will help you to distribute the traffic. At the same time, in addition to that, you are also going to have one of the other benefit that your entire data is going to remain secure. So all such kind of benefits you are going to get with the help of load balancer. Now, talking about Azure Load Balancer service. So Azure provides you load balancer as well that you can use, which can cater your needs. Now, what is the Azure Load Balancer? Your Azure Load Balancer is a layer 4 TCP UDP load balancer, which provides high availability by distributing your incoming traffic among the least busy devices or the healthy virtual machines you have automatically. Now, talking about why you should use the load balancer. The very first point is load balancer helps you to load balance your internal and external traffic to Azure virtual machine. Second is there are many variations of load balancers. So, but in the case of Azure Load Balancer, it combines all the benefits at the same time. It's as a service model. You don't have to purchase external devices. Like there are external load balancers available like F5 and all. So you don't have to make that investment. You are going to have this load balancer as a service. When you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, simply delete it and you won't be getting charged. The third is you can configure your outbound connectivity for Azure virtual machine. So from your, if anyone is trying to hit your application that you have hosted on the cloud, they are not going to get your actual IP address where you have hosted. They are going to have the IP address of your load balancer that you have. Next is you can load balance services on multiple ports, multiple IP address, or both. You can have the IP address, you can have the port. You are going to have both the flexibilities with you. So you can easily load balance, multiple traffic coming from multiple devices. Now, next is you can move internal and external load balancer resources across the Azure region. Now, if you have your on-premise load balancers, you can also easily use your on-premise load balancers as well, without having any kind of hassle. Next is you can load balance your TCP and UDP flow on all the ports simultaneously using HA ports. What is HA? HA basically is a cluster. Now, what is TCP? TCP is a reliable protocol where you're going to get an acknowledgement if your packet has been received or not. And your UDP is not a reliable protocol. So if your packet has been received, packet has not been received, you are not going to get the acknowledgement back in either of the case when you are using UDP. However, in the case of TCP, you are going to get the acknowledgement back. Next is you should use health props to monitor load balance resources. The last one is you should enable support for load balancing of IPv6. So these are the various, I would say, reason that why you should use a load balancer. Clear? I hope that you got a clear understanding what is the need of it. Moving on, talking about load balancer type. What are different types of Azure load balancers? We have different types. We have Azure load balancer, we have a traffic manager, we have application gateway. Either of them, you can use it as per your requirement. Now, Azure Load Balancer is basically an internal component in your Azure, wherein you can just simply build a load balancer out and you can use it as per your requirement. In the case of application gateway, you can basically deploy it and you can easily hook up with your multiple applications where multiple applications can have the single application gateway. Traffic manager basically helps you when you want to go more in a round robin fashion. It will help you, because now if I talk about major differences, your Azure Load Balancer basically is a network-based load balancer, which just work on layer 4 only TCP and UDP. So recommended traffic on this is non-HTTPS. At the same time, your endpoints in this case are your NICs, which is your virtual machine or virtual machine skill set or IP address. But in the case of the second one, which is your app gateway, it's a web traffic load balancer, which works on layer 7, which can be used for your WAF, web application firewall, and it can be used for your HTTPS as well. The last one that we have is traffic manager. It's basically DNS-based traffic load balancer, which is also on layer 7. However, it does not have any types, but majorly we use on non-HTTPS only. So these are different load balancers which are being available in the case of Azure. Let me just show you the small glimpse of it. So this is my Azure portal. Like if I want to use, if I want to create the resources, generally you are going to use the resource group. In the resource group, your entire resources are going to be available. Like you want to create your own storage type, you want to create a load balancer, everything is going to be into a container. That container is known as resource group. Now in this case, if I will talk about the, basically the virtual network. So I can have my own virtual network. Like for example, if I want to use the load balancer, the devices that I shared with you, you can have this Azure Load Balancer you want, you can have the traffic manager, you can have the application gateway, all the 3 different categories that I have shown you, depending on your requirement. You can pick up the one that you want. And based on that, you can do the respective action. Okay guys, then we can wrap up the session for today. So I hope that you have really enjoyed this session and you have learned a lot. Thank you so much for joining. Wishing all of you a great day ahead.